Page 68, O Sole Mio. Very famous melody. This is a nice arrangement. 4/4 time signature. There's one flat in the key signature. Save you some time. This is in the key of F major. Make sure you can do the scale for F major, at least one octave up and down. Hopefully you know the scale, and if you do know the scale and you're sort of comfortable with it, then go ahead and go 2 octaves up and down. Let's cover the notes and the rhythms and all that first. Right hand, you're coming in on beat 2. This is a pickup measure. So it's just an F chord. These fermatas I'll talk about later. Here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3, 5. 2, 3, 4, 1. It's tied. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now they want you to come down. This is a bit awkward here in measure 5. Going from here to measure 6 is here. We don't have to do that. Yeah, we got repeated notes. This G and B are played twice. Well, I can play it with 1 and 2 on the first one, and then I can do like what, a 2 and 4 on the second one. Now I'm in position. So that's what I'm going to recommend here, and then here, and then go on up. I'd like to connect this. That's the melody. I can't connect that. That's okay. Try and connect the upper note if you can. Just lift up on that and so you're ready to go on. You hold that down. Here. And then going on for measure 8, the quarter note, they want a 2. If you don't want to be it, now both of these are black keys, it doesn't really matter here. You can do that. And then here, I don't like that. Going from measure 10 to measure 11, that here to here. So what I'm going to suggest you do is for the 8th note, instead of 1, 3, reach down and do a 2, 4. You need to be able to reach that anyway, even with little hands. And now you can do a 1, 3. Going on, if you want, you can do the 3. This is measure 12. If you want, you can lift up and do if you want, or you can just stay there and use thumb 2, 1. If you want, either fingering's fine. The last line, starting measure 15 or 17, you're here, and then second finger, and then it is a B flat G. The wavy line I'll talk about later. Just right here. And then, big hands, you can do that if you need to, but otherwise that's fine. And then 4, and then a 5 for the F chord. And then that's tied to hold that on forever. Left hand's got these rhythms. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. I mean, they give you the rhythm up at the top. Yeah, I want to use the music. So they've got the 1 chord and the 5/7 chord in the same rhythm. That's fine. Let's go over to measure 9. You're here. Here, you can get away with that because they're both black keys. But if you don't want to, then use 2 and 3. That's fine too, either way. And then the last 2 measures at the bottom. You're here, just lift up and come down. This is a very common move in piano. Yeah. So the hands together. 1 and 2, 3. Pretty straightforward, I hope. And you put the hands together. I don't see any real problems with the rhythm or trickiness. You just have to be careful that you hold the notes down the length you're supposed to hold them down. As far as the articulation goes, this is pretty connected. Now for the fermatas at the beginning, you hold those out as long as it feels right. You like milk them for everything they're worth, and then you go on. So the tempo really starts on the first full measure here. When I do it with a metronome, I'll just double the value of the fermatas. I'll hold them for 2 counts instead of 1 because I need to stay with the metronome here. Otherwise, connect this. Now you can hear the musical phrases if you want. Lift up in the right hand. So lift up, lift up, lift up, lift up. You can lift up between the phrases. Now for that last line on page 69, here. And for this wavy line, it's called an arpeggio line, or an arpeggio sign, or a symbol, or whatever you want to go. It means you arpeggiate the chord. Well, that doesn't mean anything. What does that mean? An arpeggio is a type of broken chord where the pattern, because remember on broken chords, the pattern can be most anything. The pattern is from bottom to top or top to bottom. So let's say I have an F chord. If I want to play it as an arpeggio, it's bottom to top or top to bottom. Or I can go up and down. Because I'm good. That's an arpeggiated chord. You arpeggiate the chord by playing it in that pattern. This wavy line means to do that. So they want you to play this chord here and here. Each note, one at a time, bottom to top. And go ahead and hold the notes down. Here, and the fermata there, you hang on to it. I'll just give it another beat or so, whatever feels right, and then go on. Fermata at the end, hang on to that a little longer. With a metronome, I'll hold that for 2 counts instead of 1. The quarter note, that is. That's sort of the articulation. Dynamic, go to the melody, of course. Loud. Left hands, keep it moderately soft. And they don't give you any other dynamic marking until measure 14, where they come back down. Where you come down to about a moderately loud to a moderately soft in there. And at the very end where you hear, the left hand's sort of moderately loud here if you want. And then soft or moderately soft and soft. You get softer in the left hand. The right hand gets softer on its own. You don't have to worry about it. But all the time you're doing this, the last measure or so, I want to hear that. That's the melody. I still want to hear that. Not much on dynamics. Get to know the piece, because you can get a little louder and softer. I wouldn't go above loud, but you can get softer in places if you feel like it. You know, speed, moderately slow. It's a one. You'd find recordings of this. It's a felt moderately slow. It's not the speed of the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. That to me is more of a moderato, but it feels slow because of the half notes. Because you don't want to go too slow, because then those half notes and whole notes just drag out forever. And no. Then they've added pedal. Their pedal, we want the pedal. We want to connect these repeated notes. You know, we want to connect them, and we want the overtones. This is a fairly slow piece, sort of slow, and you got time to hear everything, so we want the overtones to really give it some color in the sound. I'm going to start the sound first before I raise the dampers, so the notes go down first and then the pedal. And they got the pedal down through all of this. And I think that's yucky. I don't like all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the pedals. See, they haven't taught you change pedal yet, but I've taught you change pedal, so let's do it. I'm going to change the pedal on the last beat of the pickup measure. So it's here, here, and then play the chords, and then lift the pedal up and put it down. Here, and then again at the measure. This keeps it cleaned out, but I still get the overtones. So if you want to hear the phrasing, lift the pedal up with the hands, so it's a little silence. Go on. See, on measure 8, I don't pedal the last beat. On measure 10, I I still do an overlap pedal there. I change it here. Here, play the notes first and then the pedal. And that's the way the pedaling is done in my opinion. As far as interpretation goes, this is a real emotional piece, a real feeling thingy, love song, whatever. You got to get into it and you feel it, whatever. The arpeggio at the end, there on bottom page 69, is measure 18 here. How you interpret that? Well, there's several different ways, and people don't agree. Some people are very opinionated about this, so watch out. How fast you roll, it depends on the piece and the interpretation. Because some arpeggios, you can roll them like quarter notes or so. I could go here real slow, or I could go fast. Now, it's not done rhythmically, really, but you feel it. And some people will play it so that the melody note is on the beat. Here it's a G, so it's to start at measure 17. Say 1, 2, 3. So the G's on that, and the rest of it's like a pickup to it. And lift the pedal up both for the 8th note. Other people play the bottom note on the beat, so it delays the melody note just a little bit. It's like a rubato solo. Here, so you just and then go on. It's a matter of taste. It's a matter of how do you feel it. I almost always play the bottom note on the beat, so I delay the melody note. Especially when there's a fermata there, and there's a retardando on measure 17. You can slow this down. Well, that means you can also slow the arpeggiated chord down. And that's feel. It's interpretation. There's no one right way as far as I'm concerned. Some teachers will tell you, oh no, you got to do it this way. Yeah. It's a matter of interpretation. It's how fast you roll it, and whether you play the bottom note on the beat or the top note on the beat. Depends on what. Do what your teacher tells you to do while you're studying under them. And if you get another teacher, they may tell you something different. That's fine. Do what your teacher tells you to do while you study under them. But then eventually it's going to have to be up to you to decide how you're going to do it when you don't have teachers anymore. That has first and second endings on page 69. Hopefully you know by now how that works. So at the end of the first ending, the repeat sign sends you back to the beginning, and the beat is steady. So that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, back to immediately. You hit it immediately. Don't hang on to that quarter note more than one beat. And then when you come back through the second time, you do the second ending. Yeah. I like to play it with you very slowly. Let's just double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do any dynamics. I'm going to play both hands about the same. I'm going to pedal it like I suggested, and we're going to do the repeat in the whole bit. The fermata notes, I'm just going to add an extra beat to each one. I'm going to give us 5 counts, because a full 4 counts because it's in 4/4 time, plus 1 because we come in on beat 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Hold, 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 1, 2. Hold, hold, hold. Second ending.